Welcome to today's podcast episode, everyone. I've got a very exciting guest for you guys today. For those of you just joining, we're E.N.G Media, and I've got G with me today, co-founder and CEOs of KELLS, which is a modern AI dental platform that's making oral care smarter, easy, and more affordable. So, G, thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast. I'm excited to dive into what you guys are doing with AI, diving into your journey and all of that good stuff as well.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. So for the audience, would you mind just giving us a little bit of a background into what Kell's core area of focus really is and what you guys are doing with AI?
Yeah, absolutely. So KELLS is a power AI native dental benefits platform, which really combines two things. One is a unique set of virtual care capabilities to help people get access to dental care, make better decisions. And when they need treatments, we also provide access to a nationwide provider network that with significant discounts
Oh,
so
wow.
people can afford the care they need at the earliest time possible.
Yeah, no, that is very, very interesting. And it's curious to me as well. You picked the dental space specifically. Is there anything behind that? Like, did you previously work in dental care kind of before you ended up starting Kell's?
No, ironically, I actually don't have any background in dental. I came from a technology background. I was a AI researcher, PhD student, and I did a lot of work in developing like technology and products. But as I was doing that in companies like Google, Amazon, I realized the kind of the potential of applying AI to problems that really impacts people's health and wellness, which I think is one of the areas that would be most significant in the world. And yeah, I think the reason we look at dental is I met my co-founder a few years back, and he was in the dental space. That gets my interest to look at dental. To be honest, like growing up, I'm one of those people who just hate going to the dentist, and I feel like this is something that always feeling very frustrated, not transparent to me, and I have no control about it, right? So, and then we just start thinking about, is there anything we can do to use technology like AI to kind of level people up and equalize their capability of engaging and eventually to improve their oral health in the
Yeah,
larger scale?
100%. I think that there's so many, it almost seems like a very traditional process in dental care specifically. I know I used to go to an orthodontist in the past, and in order to get my dental records for different things that I was doing, it was always a very manual process. The orthodontist that I went to was, probably 20, 30 minutes away from my house at the time. And it made things kind of complicated for me to get what I needed specifically. So what are some when it comes to, AI, like what were some very core things that you and your co-founder were looking to solve in the digital care space specifically?
Well, I think, like you said, right, one of the main challenges or frictions about dental care is accessibility. Most of the process started in the dental office that you have to make appointment, physically go in there, maybe even wait in the line, and then you get some time with the mostly with the hygienist and with the dentist, and then you're told to do these things and you go home. And then the next visit probably is at least 6 months or even a year away. So
Mhm.
the relationship or the kind of frequency you touch on or dental care in general are just not very engaging. So what we see, what AI can play a role here is really to democratize the set of expertise that traditionally requires a physical interaction with a professional, where AI can actually have the capability to not only kind of bring those expertise at scale and a kind of very affordable cost, but also personalized based on your data, like you said, your record, your history, right?
Oh, well.
Everything very relevant to you, and you can benefit the most out of it.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. And that, what you just said, it kind of brings to my mind your guys' AI dental advisor specifically. I think that's a perfect example of what you're talking about as far as dental patients being able to access some of their records and ask specific questions related to their overall history in dental care specifically. So from like a technology standpoint, did you guys do a lot of training for your AI model specifically when it comes to like the AI dental advisor? in order for it to be able to spit out the correct answers to potential patients that are kind of having questions around like their overall dental care?
Yeah, so I just want to take a step back and kind of mention about what the kind of whole platform looks like, right? So we focus on patient experience, we focus on digital first. So we don't just build one tool, but we kind of build the set of tools that guides the whole patient journey, right? So what you mentioned is our basically AI agent that answers dental questions, help you do some task related to dental on the 24/7 basis, right? And beyond that, I guess we'll touch on that sometime later. We also have a very interesting capability that allows you to take pictures using your phone and get a comprehensive checkup just by there within minutes.
Oh, wow.
So you can actually, so you know when you need to see a dentist. Are you in a high risk of conditions that developing that you just don't know or you're not aware of? So you get more kind of awareness and you get the knowledge, the education to decide what to do next. And those are just some of the features we have. But getting back to your question about the dental advisor, it is our AI chat agent, 24/7, help you to answer dental questions and navigate dental care, for example, find providers, understand cost, schedule appointment even, right? So to accomplish that, we do combine a kind of a general knowledge base with specific kind of personal data, right? So when you become a KELLS member, you would provide us some basic information, who you are, what's your dental habits or history look like, and also when you interact with any kind of service on KELLS platform, we would inject those knowledge into the chat agent. So
Yes.
it really kind of feels like it knows you and can anticipate what you might need and to expect. So yeah, we do custom trainings, and it's been pretty amazing experience so far.
Yeah, no, I love that, and it really stands out to me the amount of domain expertise that yourself and your co-founder have in the dental care space specifically. As you mentioned, you guys aren't just providing, an AI agent or one tool specifically. It's almost like you're bringing a holistic solution to patients. So, have you gotten any recent feedback, maybe a successful use case that we can highlight that really showcases the impact that you guys are driving?
So the vision is to create a AI powered personal dental team for everyone and in your pocket, right?
Oh
It's
wow,
never been done before. People don't even think that's possible when we started, but we're actually getting closer to that vision day by day. And so it's interesting. If I take a step back, like you said, the first client base, first customer base we thought about is the dental office, right? So when we first started, we kind of look into ways to work with the dental office and help them support, organize their workflow. What we found that is that usually the dental office, because the nature of how they're structured, they all have their own very unique workflow. So it's a very fragmented market. There's no consistent integration, things like that.
mhm,
And we were like much, much smaller and we're just starting out. So we actually made the decision not to focus on the dental office, but rather focus on the patient themselves and whoever provides benefit to the patients. So to give you example, we work with small businesses, medium-sized small businesses to offer their employees or members benefits like KELPs. So many of these people don't have dental coverage at all. They don't have dental insurance, right? They haven't been to the dentist for over a few years. And when we come in, using our capability to reach people virtually first, that they can get a quick scan at home using just their phone, get a report, it's a world's difference because they now feel like it's not intimidating to get engaged with dental and just to kind of know what's going on in their mouth. And I believe the stats is like there's over one third of population in the US do not visit the dentist every year, right?
oh wow,
So think about the opportunity you can create by putting tools like this in their hands and kind of empower them to, be aware of what's going on, stay on top of their dental. And then usually I would tell you most of the people who have done the scan initially, the first thing you ask is where can I find a dentist, right? Like
yeah,
I think it's really important to point out like people care about their teeth and mouths in general. It's not like they don't care about even though they don't visit the dentist often, but they just don't have the means or the kind of convenient ways to engage and
Exactly.
utilize it, right? So when you break that barrier down, like a lot of interesting things will happen.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I want to dive into the virtual checkup that you guys are providing specifically just from a technology standpoint. What do the logistics look like? So basically, what you're saying is I can use something like my phone and I can take a picture of my teeth and upload it into your platform. And essentially, you guys will be able to give me a better understanding of what type of work that I need done specifically, and then help connect me to a dentist office that might be closest to me or that might be within my range of affordability based off of my previous dental history, essentially?
More or less, yes. Basically, you can. So we have this tool called AI Virtual Checkup, right? So it's an app that you can use your phone to take pictures following our guide, right? So 5 pictures capturing different angles of your teeth and mouth, and from different kind of a perspective. And what it does is
Gotcha.
that once you've taken these images, not only our AI, but we also have a professional dentist team remotely to help you
Gotcha.
investigate it and analyze these pictures and with some other information you provide to us. And we're able to turn around a very, very detailed report. I would say you don't even get those report from a dental office if you see it.
Mhm.
We're able
Oh,
to
well.
give you a full picture of your mouth and teeth, highlighting specific areas that where we would consider as a suspicious area or problematic area. Now, of course, these are all based on the images. So I wouldn't say it's 100% accurate, but we have done a study showing that our results are actually very comparable to what you will get from the office, even using x-ray sometimes. So
Wow.
it builds a lot of trust and the nuance into like a data-driven approach. When people look at our report, everything is transparent. Every information we surface are depicted on that digital experience. And you can even interact with different areas of the mouse to dive deeper into what is the cavity, what is the information, what does that mean for me, what should I do? So
Wow.
yeah. So as you mentioned, like if you have let's call it like if you have inflammation, gum issues, or you have some, cavity areas potentially happening, we would flag it and we will tell you you may need certain type of treatments to improve or fix that problem before it gets worse.
Wow.
So that's the value, right? That's the value is that you are aware of the risk you have instead of waiting for things happening and it goes to the dentist. That's already too late, and it's going to be expensive.
Yeah, and like you said, there's so much opportunity. You said the data shows, 1 out of 3 Americans don't even go into dental offices. That's almost like 33% of Americans overall, which is insane to think about. But like you said, I think it's just the overall accessibility, and maybe some people aren't always problem aware, and it might not just be worth it to go and find a dental office and go
Right.
through all of the logistics to figure it out, where you're able to give them some insights, make them maybe aware that they have a problem in the first place, and then give them the resources that they need to help solve that. I could see how valuable that is. But a reoccurring theme that comes up on our podcast is the skepticism around AI adoption when it comes to healthcare, or I don't know if that's the case for dental care benefits specifically, but it sounds like a no-brainer. Is there any pushback or hesitancy around the adoption of working with KELLS that you've got from potential like buyers in the market?
So that's an interesting question, right? Because AI is still pretty new to a lot of people out there. And obviously, from my past world in the big tech, you wouldn't think that way. You just feel like everything falls naturally into what it's supposed to be and people understand. But after working at KELS for a few years, talking to different stakeholders in the space, I just understand for a lot of people, this is so new to them. And when that happens, that absolutely raises a concern and a question about how reliable is AI? How accurate should I trust the results from the AI? Right. So I think what we do is two things. One is to again put the transparency at the forefront, and explaining how we derive these results. What happens after you give us the images and everything? Who analyzed it? And also, the amount of information you get I think, is just very convincing in the way that there's nothing to hold back. And I think different from like, let's say being a dentist or being an office or insurance company, we are really unbiased, right? So we're not selling treatments to you. We're not selling anything basically to you except to tell you what you should be aware of, right? So I think that position build certain level of trust when people say, okay, they have nothing to gain here except telling me what should I know and help me to make decisions better, right? So I think that, combined, we kind of being able to kind of push through some of the questions early on. And of course, we're constantly doing research and studies to show, how our results kind of compare to a more kind of chair-side clinical examinations, and the data and evidence will prove that the results from us are trustworthy to
Yeah.
help guide you to the next steps.
100%. Yeah, and I mean, and you're getting on podcasts like this and explaining transparently your guys' platform overall to help people like me better understand that, it's not just a photo scan of somebody's teeth and then that you refer them over to a dentist for a fee. You're actually having the data reviewed by a virtual dentist team, essentially, to look at and make sure that the information that's being sent back to users and potential patients is accurate. And I think that that's really important, and that process is unique. I haven't seen or heard or talked to anybody doing that in the space, specifically. And you mentioned that your co-founder comes from the dental care space. So it sounds like that's how you guys have been able to build this holistic, vertically integrated platform for dentist care overall. Could you maybe shed some light into how the talent on your team, such as folks like your co-founder, or maybe even anybody else on your team, is helping push KELLS mission forward?
Yeah. So we're lucky to have a group of people who are really passionate about the mission that we're trying to make dental care more accessible, more personalized using technology like AI. And I would say, my co-founder was in the DSO space. He helped build one of the large DSOs in the East Coast. So he knows how the dental practice operates, right? He knows all the in and outs of the office day to day. But I think rather like one thing, sometimes we don't give us enough credit is the ability as founders to step into a new world and learn as fast as we can. None of us are experts in the insurance or dental benefit space, which is very different from the dental practice model, right? Because there you are thinking about as a provider, as a dentist, how you do your job better. But here you're thinking about how do I position all the values around the patient, the members to benefit them. And then at the same time, how do we create a business out of it? Right. So we really learn from, kind of like from the scratch. We don't know much people when we started. We don't know how benefit works in general. But after spending years in the space, talking to brokers, talking to insurance carriers, talking to employers, right? We really kind of found the nuances that what's it take. And then from there, we formed a team around to support operation, to support sales, to support marketing, right? Things like that. And most importantly, we have a very strong product team that keep innovating on behalf of the patients and members.
Yeah, that is no, that's awesome. I appreciate you sharing a little bit more into your background overall as a company. I think that without that couple of years that you guys spent talking to key stakeholders and understanding the dental care benefit space specifically, without that, it might have been tougher to provide, a really impactful solution to the market. And I think that's where that research and development through the early years is something that might be missing. And certain AI companies that are kind of missing the mark. So it makes sense why you guys are getting, you're growing rapidly. You guys are getting a lot of adoption from the businesses that you're working with, but then also the patients that see the value in the platform, and it's coming from real data. And so one thing that I'd seen on your LinkedIn profile is you guys are expanding across borders. I believe you just did a pilot with an advanced aging company out in Singapore specifically. And so are you guys looking to expand, across borders as you continue to grow to provide solutions to maybe other countries even outside of the United States?
So the typical lesson for startup is they tell you like do one thing and do it very well, right? So we
Yeah.
all know that, but there's a lot of kind of flavors to that point, and obviously we don't start by doing many different things. And you might see the same thing in AI in general is that the overall adoption pattern and decision making method are not like the previous wave of the technology advancement. And I heard this from a venture capital kind of conference before. It's almost like global movement that the leaders and decision makers are thinking about AI as a strategic or existential kind of a strategy. They have to really come in early as possible. This is also another reason that the way we connect to these opportunities, and when we write about us and talk about what we do, people reach out
Oh, wow.
and see, like, we're considering doing something like this in Asia, in Europe, right, in
Right.
different kind of continents, and we're looking for partners to kind of distribute or partner, like bring the technology into our local markets where they know much better than us, but they don't have the solution for it, right? Um, and this is how this kind of come together. And I'm really proud of kind of what we do in Singapore. For example, Singapore is one of those countries that very modern and tech driven, and they have a really robust and strong healthcare ecosystem that's supported by the government, right?
Okay.
And their senior citizens, not surprisingly, have challenges to get access to dental care, and they have a lot of needs.
Mhm.
So instead of like convincing them or asking them, hey, you have to see a dentist, taking time, take the car, whatever, like all these troubles, we can bring the care to them.
It's
So,
awesome.
right. And so we did the pilot with a company we partnered with there. We went to the senior centers. They have around 100 people, and 80% of them opt into this service or this pilot,
Oh, wow.
and we screened them using AI, using our virtual checkup technology, and everyone gets a report. They were explained to in a very brief way,
Oh, wow.
and it turns out 40% of them decided to follow up with a local dentist, right?
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, right. So you can see, like, I think one thing that's missing in dental, but also like in healthcare in general, is that patient is the reason why the industry exists.
Right.
So realistically, practically, people don't think that way, right? You feel like who's the gatekeeper? The insurance companies, is the provider, the dentist, the doctors. But at the end of the day, patients is the most important stakeholder to us, at least. When you give them the ability to understand their health, they're more likely to engage. They're more likely to do the right thing to keep themselves healthier, happier, and then they're more likely, obviously, to get the care they need on a timely fashion. So I think this is a demonstration of what AI can break the barrier and really change the game in some format.
100%. Yeah. I think, like you said, it all comes down to the patient and outcomes for the patient. That's why the industry exists overall, is obviously what you guys take into providing solutions for the dental care offices that you're working with specifically. And it'd be great to get your insights into what you see when it comes to the future of dental care specifically. Do you think more companies are going to take more of a customer centric approach into how they invest into technology overall, maybe in the next 5 to 10 years? And for the ones that don't, do you think that there will be more of a gap built in the market of dental care for the folks that adopt AI for, better patient outcomes, and the ones that don't? Or do you have any specific thoughts on that?
I think it's absolutely inevitable for everyone in the space to leverage AI in some form or not. And actually, because the because the nature of AI capability is built on top of data, I would even say the earlier you come into AI, even though it may not seem to be less mature at some point, I think you have a compounding potential to benefit it on the long run, right? So if you look at like the different stakeholders, the first of all, the patients, the ability to get your data, your records in your hand, the ability to understand where you are, your risk profile, things like that, will benefit yourself very well. And you can come into a mature conversation with your providers to discuss treatment plans, discuss payment options, discuss all kinds of things, right? And for the rest of the ecosystem, like providers and payers, they can leverage AI to get data that tells them who are the most risky population in their cohort they have to take care of. So what they do is they can focus on those folks on a more timely manner instead of waiting for things to happen, because at that point everyone loses, right? The costs just go up, and that's how we created this broken system today. But I think in dental particular, here's what I think is interesting: the ability to be a constantly engaging on people in their home, in their pocket, uh, are are just a game changer if you think about it, right? Because dental is one of those things that basically a chronic disease that if you don't take care of it, it gets worse over time. But people's mindset is that I don't need to see a dentist until something happens,
Right.
right? But it's irreversible. When something happens, it's too late. What I think the future of dental should be is instead of a reactive treatment focused pattern, it should be a proactive prevention focused. So the only way you do that is by putting something like AI or a virtual team with the patient 24/7 and kind of monitor their health, take their questions when they have it, help them find the care they need as soon as possible, so that you can minimize the type of frictions and risk they endure, and kind of improve outcome from there, right? So take us for example, we're seeing 60% of KELLS members are able to detect things that they're not aware of.
Oh, well.
And if you project those early signals to people who turn out to engage with the dentist later on or take on a much easier intervention, like a filling, for example, instead of a crown or implant, there's a significant savings you can get.
Oh, yeah.
And these savings, who benefits from the savings? The patient, first of all, right? Because 30 to 40% of what dental costs are out of pocket cost. So you pay by yourself. The insurance is not covering it. But
Jeez.
also for employers that are self insured or taking on the whole holistic health risk for their employees, you can actually protect them not only from a dental perspective, but also the overall health. Because if you have a better oral health, if you have better dental care, your risk or your cost for medical problems are much lower. So that's a much bigger kind of a impact you can create. And this is where I think the dental space generally is going to embed more closely with the medical.
Yeah. I think the impact is really just found in the context that you just shared. I didn't even think about it, but you're right. It's like 30 to 40% of cost for dental care just comes out of pocket because insurance companies aren't covering that. And so, and also what you mentioned in regards to having better accessibility to customers through, their phone that's in their pocket through like a mobile app specifically, not only in dental, but just in other industries overall. That's one of the most powerful connections that you can make with customers. So I love the fact that you guys are making that happen through the mobile app that you have. But, you've been running through your mission now for about 4 years at KELLS up to this point. I would love to know, are there any other new initiatives that you guys are rolling out with your technology or just as a company in general to kind of add to the holistic approach, and the solutions that you're providing already?
Well, we're always building new things, which is rare. I think in dental, I think we're probably investing way too much resource into it, but that really benefits us over time as we look at the data, look at the understanding of it. We really have some unique insights, right? So what drives us to innovate is better understanding of patients, sometimes even better than themselves, to not only detect but also predict where the future lands, right? So one of the things I'm personally passionate about is the ability to forecast risk down the road using the data we're collecting today. Right? If I can look at your past, you know, records with us or what you had before in terms of treatments, there's a high chance I can predict how things are going to go in the next 12 to 18 months or 24 months.
Yeah.
So when you have that capability, you can basically do amazing things by controlling the risk, by influencing the patient or the members in a positive way that they are not even aware of, right? So I think there's a endless of possibilities how this will go. And also, like as I mentioned, the ability to link dental with medical, like you're diabetes patients or you have chronic condition like heart disease, you are naturally more vulnerable in terms of dental risk because the inflammation just goes through your body. So if we can correlate these data together, and again, put the AI in front of it and say, analyze these data and tell me what should I do to minimize my risk, and it will probably give you a pretty optimal plan on how to maintain your dental health, but also how it will influence your overall health.
Yeah. I think fundamentally that will change the dental care space, but just healthcare in general, being able to better leverage that that data and take more of a preventative approach instead of like a reactionary, just to where you're waiting for certain things to happen. And for anybody in the audience that wants to follow along with what Kells is doing, or even they want to connect with Yuji after they watch this podcast, outside of your guys' website, would you say that LinkedIn is probably the best social media platform for folks to go and learn more about what you guys are working on?
Yeah, absolutely. LinkedIn, we post frequently. It's our main kind of social sites. We don't have a lot of social sites, but LinkedIn is the main one. You will get updates and see what's going on at KELLS.
Yeah, and I'll make sure to include the links to your guys' social media and the website in the description of this video. I highly recommend everybody go check out Kells. I know I'm definitely gonna check out your guys' mobile app. I think there's some interesting things that I could find there. But you know, if anybody has any questions as well, definitely feel free to comment on this video if you see it on YouTube or if you see our posts on LinkedIn. And G, I'd love to bring you back on and maybe answer some of those questions if that's something that you'd be open to as well.
I love.
That is awesome. And, before we wrap up here, is there anything else that you want to leave the audience with? Maybe that's my audience, or maybe even that's folks in your audience in the dental care space in the way that they view Kells and really what you guys are looking to solve?
I would say, like, when we first introduced KELLS, people think it's a one-trick pony, maybe do one or two features. But I think the way the overall kind of healthcare space is going is that the employers, the providers, or the patients are tired of point solutions, right? So they don't want to manage so many different things. The fact that we are a holistic dental platform that handles all your dental needs under one place matters a lot. So you invest in us by working with us. Rest assured, we treat them very respectively, and also we leverage the knowledge we gather to help bring the experience to the next level, right? So I think I think it's something that we've done over multiple years. It's not overnight. There's a lot of failure lessons we had, a lot of success we had, and it's just a kind of a long term investment we decided to do. And yeah, I'm excited to basically work with more stakeholder in the space. One company cannot change uh, the landscape, right? It cannot solve all the problems. So we're very pro partnership. We're very pro collaboration to work together on this.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I love talking to folks that are doing things with AI that aren't just providing point solutions. Like you said, people don't want 50 different tools when it comes to dental care just because a lot of people are busy. They don't have time to go through it and they just want a specific outcome at the end of the day, which is better dental care that's more affordable and just a better understanding of where their health is at in general, not just when it comes to dental specifically. And so I love that's what you guys are solving for. And yeah, hopefully somebody can reach out the more that you guys continue to tell your story and document everything. And really quick before we jump off here, would you mind sharing one of the biggest lessons that you have learned overall as a founder, like a really large obstacle that yourself and your co-founder have had to overcome? I know that there's not just one specifically, but has there been something that's maybe stood out that's really taught you really large lessons that helped you get to where you guys are today?
Believe in yourself. No one understands what you're doing better than yourself. Even though you may not be expert at the beginning, you're going to become an expert at some point. And then treat it as a marathon, not a sprint. Building company is a long process. Like, I think even for me, like coming from a tech world, everything goes so fast. I realized that if you're building something brand new, you need time to educate people. You need people to get their trust in your company at the beginning, right? And so be patient, and the opportunity often lands when you are not expecting it. And that's we have identified. Just keep doing what you're doing, and don't give up.
100%. And I appreciate you sharing that for our audience of founders and CEOs. I know I'll take that advice myself because we're always trying to rush to the next problem that we're going to solve. But like, there's always going to be problems. And it's like you said, it's a marathon, it's not a race. Just keep doing the right thing. And it'll eventually, like, you'll get to where you want to be as long as you're doing the right thing. Right. And so, G, I just wanted to tell you, thank you so much again for coming on our podcast and really for sharing your insights today as well.
Such a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Well, there you have it. Like I said, if you have any questions, let us know. But other than that, we'll catch you guys in the next video.